Tonight, fan favorite Rudy's Lakeside Drive-In is back, and this time they're hoping to return to full normalcy.
From rain to shine, weather in Oswego is only going to continue to change. We'll give you the updates you need to know going into the weekend.
And find out how a new development along the Oswego Riverwalk is set to draw a lot of attention.
WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Scott Brubaker.
And I'm Casey Morris.
Oswego Mayor Billy Barlow announced that construction has started on the new concrete skate park coming to Oswego this fall. This state-of-the-art facility will cost around $500,000 and will be placed along the East Linear River Walk. The park is set to be designed by Oswego native Brad Sedlecki.
In a statement, Mayor Barlow said the new park will be a place for the Oswego youth to get outdoors and have fun, especially following the pandemic. Barlow also says the park will be an attraction for folks from all over Oswego County. The park is expected to be completed and open this October. Governor Kathy Hochul announced a call for applications for a second cohort of real estate partners to join the state's $50 million Empire Building Challenge to help advance a climate-friendly building stock. The New York State Energy Research and Development Authority is seeking teams of real estate portfolio owners and MEP engineering companies to submit joint applications on retrofit approaches that can drive broad-scale decarbonization of heating and hot water in existing high-rise buildings.
The tri-state area of New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania are on high alert tonight as powerful spring storms could be on the way. Officials say gusty winds and lightning are considered the primary threat, but tornadoes can't be ruled out. These storms are set to arrive during the evening hours and weekend as they move towards New York City later in the night. And speaking of the climate, now let's take a quick look at the weather with Storm Team 10 meteorologist Kanaya Mabry.
Good evening, Oswego. What we can expect for this week, we will be seeing snow and rain tomorrow. Saturday will be sunny and probably the only day that really looks like spring. But higher temps are on the way as we get through the week. I'll have my full weather forecast later in the show, but for now, back to the desk with more news.
Thank you, Kanaya. As the weather starts to get warmer, just like today, vacations are on people's minds. Amy Kiley has several updates to help you plan your next trip.
COVID-19 no longer controls our lives.
That means the relaxation of more restrictions and guidance, including some related to travel. The CDC now says cruises don't pose an increased travel risk, but it suggests checking out individual ship health guidelines and getting fully vaccinated against COVID-19 first. The FDA just expanded the emergency use authorization for a second round of Pfizer and Moderna boosters for people 50 and older. The president now has his, but the CDC clarifies people don't need that extra shot to be considered up to date on their COVID-19 vaccinations.
If you're over the age of 50 or you're younger than that and have important comorbid conditions, you should get boosted.
In other travel news, 21 states are suing the Biden administration to end the transportation mask mandate before it expires April 18th. That's in addition to other lawsuits from groups of pilots and flight attendants. And travelers now can get pandemic information about the places they plan to visit in the U.S. or where they live on covid.gov. Amid these changes, experts say to be ready for the Omicron subvariant to increase cases.
In the last week, case rates in the United States have become flat. And if you and I speak next week at this time, we'll be talking about how they're now starting to rise.
Congress has to provide the funding America needs to continue to fight COVID-19. And if we fail to invest, we leave ourselves vulnerable if another wave of the virus hits.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Officials still encourage avoiding large crowds and social distancing when appropriate, and to always scope the growing COVID-19 cases in the cities you plan to visit.
Senators are finalizing a $10 billion bill on a new coronavirus aid as they try to pass it before a 2-week break that is set to start in days. The $10 billion is expected to be split to include $5 billion for therapeutics, including vaccinations. The deal would be funded by reprogramming money passed in previous coronavirus bills, but it is not expected to redirect money that was previously allocated to go towards state and local governments.
The gap has been narrowed greatly, and we're intent on working with Republicans to cross the finish line, because this is vital for our country.
Senator Schumer hopes to finalize details from the plan within the days to meet deadlines.
As COVID cases continue to drop across the country, numbers are up in Oswego County and are going up. Health officials announced that 531 residents tested positive for COVID this past week. The CDC is reporting that the BA.2 variant has become the dominant variant in New York State. Officials continue to say the best protection against the virus is getting vaccinated and boosted. The Oswego County Health Department holds COVID-19 vaccination clinics every week.
The CDC is updating its recommendations to allow certain immunocompromised individuals and people over the age of 50 who received an initial booster dose at least 4 months ago to be eligible for another booster shot to increase their protection against COVID-19. The CDC continues to recommend that all eligible adults, adolescents, and children 5 and up to be up to date on their COVID-19 vaccines, including getting an initial booster when eligible.
After being under extended health and safety measures the past 2 years, Rudy's Lakeside Drive-In is officially open for its 76th season. The restaurant will be offering 3 different ordering options this season, including ordering inside, online, or over the phone. This is to give customers the opportunity to order as they feel comfortable. Rudy's will be open Wednesdays through Sundays and is located just off the SUNY Oswego campus. And coming up, spring weather brings a record number of storms for the month of March. What you should be looking out for.
And fans of Skippy peanut butter may want to rethink their grocery lists, how a recent recall could save your health.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News.
For the governor race with a strong lead, former Governor Andrew Cuomo is...
Barlow announced the completion of a large building mural in downtown Oswego.
The renovations on the Hewitt Union building, turning it into the new Hewitt Hall.
And as we move into tomorrow, that rain is going to be in our area.
Moving to the Diamond now, as Sweet Caroline got a lot sweeter last night.
Major Discussions is the new show that explores the stories of students right here on campus. I personally came here to SUNY Oswego for the broadcasting program because I love to hear people's stories and to do work just like this.
What's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. The pressure's too much. I quit. I get it. I can do better. Just please don't leave.
Don't let your heart quit on you. Get your uncontrolled high blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late.
Good evening, Oswego. I am your Storm Team 10 meteorologist, Kanaya Mabry. As you can see, though we will be having snow and rain tomorrow, temperatures are getting higher and we will have a very sunny Saturday. Here you can see all the low pressure systems moving out into the west, and one will be bringing snow and rain later. And again, we can see all of the rain moving out into the east and the spotty showers here in Oswego. We will have some clear skies, before some light showers later tonight. As I said, we will be having light rain, it will be about 36 degrees with south winds moving from 11 to 17 miles per hour. And for today's air quality report, it is moderate, which means there is a small number of unusually, for people that are really sensitive, it may be best to take some care into that. For tomorrow, we will be having rain and snow showers. It'll be about 40 degrees. You might want to bundle up. Wind speeds will be from the west for about 11 to 22 miles per hour. With the weather being about as cold as it is, you may want to grab yourself a large cup of coffee. Heading into the weekend, as you can see, tomorrow it's going to be very breezy. There's going to be a lot of rain and a lot of snow. On Saturday, it is going to be very nice, 40 degrees, sunny. On Sunday, it'll be about the same, 40 degrees, but there is a chance of light rain in the afternoon. As we head into Monday and Tuesday, it is again going to be nice weather. As you can see, going into the week, we have the temperatures all going up into the 50s. But though back on Wednesday and Thursday, we will be having more rain. Back to the desk for more WTOP 10 News.
At least 219 tornadoes have been reported this month across the United States. This is the second year in a row the country has endured a record number of tornadoes in March. In March 2021, 191 tornadoes were reported. Meanwhile, more severe storms are happening further east in the country, could mean more disastrous and deadly tornadoes. Scientists suspect climate change is playing a major role in these outbreaks.
A 12-year-old has been pronounced dead following a shooting at Tanglewood Middle School in Greenville, South Carolina, after he was shot by another 12-year-old student. The suspect was arrested shortly after the incident near campus and is being charged with murder and 3 other felony charges. According to the Greenville County Sheriff's Office, authorities are still conducting a full and thorough investigation.
Russian President Vladimir Putin says he's signed a new decree requiring natural gas trading with, quote, unfriendly countries. It means that companies will need to have accounts in Russian banks and pay for contracts in rubles. Putin said, "We suggest that these countries use a very simple and transparent scheme in order to buy a Russian gas, and if the payments are not made, active contracts will be suspended." These rules take effect tomorrow, April 1st.
An historic announcement from President Joe Biden earlier today. Chris Wynn has more.
Making unprecedented moves to relieve pain at the pump.
Your family budgets to fill a tank, none of it should hinge on whether a dictator declares war.
Releasing a record 1 million barrels a day from the strategic petroleum reserves in an effort to reduce gas prices and put pressure on oil companies to increase supply.
This is the time, not the time to sit on record profits. It's time to step up for the good of your country, the good of the world, to invest in immediate production that we need to respond to Vladimir Putin.
Following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the U.S. price of regular gasoline spiked, hitting a record high average of $4.33 a gallon earlier this month.
I'll put 150 and I won't fill up.
Have everything just go sky high is ridiculous. We can't afford it.
Biden previously announced a coordinated release of oil in conjunction with other nations. While tapping deeper into the reserve is expected to have a limited effect on prices, the president is hoping to send a political message amid a difficult midterm election year.
It's time to deliver true long-term energy independence in America once and for all. And I'm going to continue to use every tool at my disposal to protect you from Putin's price hike.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
The White House says the goal is to move the country towards renewable energy, electric vehicles, and away from dependence on foreign oil.
A number of Skippy peanut butter jars have been recalled from small fragments of stainless steel found due to a piece of manufacturing equipment. Skippy Foods is voluntarily recalling more than 9,000 cases of reduced fat creamy peanut butter spread, reduced fat chunky peanut butter spread, and creamy peanut butter blended with plant protein. There have been no consumer complaints associated with this recall.
It is Trans Visibility Day, how President Biden is advocating for people within the community.
And why a male-dominated industry is seeing a large growth in women stepping up to the plate.
I love you.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Remember the best planned 90 minutes of your life? Or that surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Hey, can you chop the pineapple?
Chop the pineapple.
Nope, I'm high. How about I wash off the grapes?
Yes.
Okay.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
I want tacos. Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope, I'm high. Let's order in.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. The Biden administration has decided to mark International Transgender Day of Visibility with a series of measures to support transgender Americans. The slew of actions will be aimed at supporting the mental health of transgender children, removing barriers to entry for government services, and improving data representation for transgender people. The administration has also announced the option for citizens to select X when identifying themselves on passports.
Therefore, I, Cavalier Johnson, Mayor of the City of Milwaukee, do hereby proclaim Thursday, March 31st, 2022, to be Transgender Day of Visibility throughout the entire City of Milwaukee.
I'm asking for concrete and deliverable commitments and investments in the trans and gender expansive communities so they can actually thrive. But policies will only get us so far until we make specific efforts to change the narratives around trans people and queer people in this world.
Several states, including Florida and Texas, have recently passed legislation to push back on transgender rights.
Women are leading the way in the agriculture industry. 2017 census data shows they now represent nearly 40% of farm workforce. Isabel Rosales reports on the ways women are opening doors.
A change is happening on farms all over the U.S. Heather Mulholland grew up on a third-generation family farm.
My heart has always been in agriculture.
This is her great-grandfather, who probably would have struggled to imagine one day she would run the family legacy.
I love what I do.
As COO of Mulholland Citrus in Orange Cove, California, her profession can mean anything from leading board meetings to checking the harvest.
It's an industry that's just at the knife's edge of failure. We're currently in a drought.
Census data from the USDA shows more women are calling the shots in agriculture. In 2017, women-operated farms made up a whopping 56% of all farms, and the number of women producers increased 27% compared to 2012.
At one time, that might have been a little unusual. It's really not unusual anymore.
Alexandra Allen is not just a producer.
Feeding the world is too important to just continue the status quo.
But also,
we kind of joke about that I'm a broccoli attorney.
And as it turns out, agriculture is quite high-tech and complex.
Of course, there are labor laws and water laws and land use laws.
Alan bets you too would be surprised by the diversity of jobs.
I have felt like the industry is looking for opportunities to give women a seat at the table.
But others don't exactly feel the same way.
The hardest part is getting a seat at the table.
Me ha tocado trabajar con hombres y les hemos ponido la muestra también a ellos de que también nosotros podemos trabajar.
Whether the job brings you to the boardroom or the fields, a change is happening in the world of agriculture. Women who appreciate food and where it comes from are paving the way unapologetically.
Hay veces que me como las uvas y digo, esto yo lo trabajé con mis manos.
I'm Isabel Rosales reporting.
The same study has reported that women make up 36% of all farmers in the United States.
According to results from a CDC survey, around 37% of American high school students have experienced poor mental health, in that at least most of the time during the COVID-19 pandemic. Around 44% felt persistent sadness or hopelessness that resulted in them stopping their usual activities. Poor mental health was found to be more prevalent among high school girls and LGBT students. And coming up in sports, we have Jack Franzino.
Jack, can you give us a quick preview?
Of course, stay tuned to hear about the major Syracuse basketball star transferring, CJ McCollum making his return to Portland, and the U.S. men's soccer team qualifying for the World Cup.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. My name is Jack Franzino, and let's get straight into it. Some may say it's been a dry week for the Lakers sports, but the baseball team would beg to differ. Their game last night against Cobleskill got rescheduled due to poor field conditions after the on and off storms throughout the day. The new date has yet to be announced, so it looks like they'll have to wait on their next opportunity to assert their dominance against the team they've never lost to. The Red Hot Lakers instead turned their attention to the slumping New Paltz Hawks, who are 3-7 in their last 10. This weekend in a doubleheader on a neutral field at Maine Endwell High School on Saturday, along with a game on Sunday at 12. And on the softball side of things, the team will also have to wait a bit before their next taste of action. The Lakers were supposed to travel to Fredonia for a doubleheader on Friday. However, that set was moved to Monday at 3 and 5 p.m. But before they play another set of two on this Saturday at Buffalo State is set to happen. Although it hasn't been the strongest start of the season for them, this is a fantastic opportunity to get them back in the mix. With the Lakers currently 3-8, this is a chance for them to climb back to near 500 in the season, going against two teams who have a combined record of 6-20. Good luck to the girls as they look forward to the rest of the season. Moving on to Syracuse, there's been some bittersweet news in the past day. Center Frank Anselm, who was a major part of the team this past season, has officially entered the transfer portal. The 6'10 sophomore from Nigeria enjoyed an up-and-down season filling in for the injured Jesse Edwards, including pulling down 15 boards against Virginia Tech in his starting debut. With Edwards coming back next season, Anselm will be looking for a bigger role elsewhere. This leaves Syracuse without an established backup big man at the moment, so expect them to search through the transfer portal to find a suitable replacement as they wish Anselm the best in his future endeavors. And finally, despite a 2-0 loss to the resilient Costa Rica side, the U.S. men's national team successfully qualified for the World Cup and will travel to Qatar this November. It was a difficult qualifying process, with Greg Berhalter's men struggling for consistent points on the road against fierce opposition across the continent. But standout performances from winger Tim Weah and a lockdown defense built around Walker Zimmerman propelled the U.S. to their first World Cup in 8 years. The national team is hoping for success in Qatar to set up a run in the 2026 World Cup, where the U.S. are co-hosts. And of course, let's head over now to Portland as C.J. McCollum makes his debut to a standing ovation to the crowd. And C.J. McCollum got right into it, draining a deep three right there, and then pulling up again after the crossover for another three. And of course, C.J. does what C.J. does best, working his magic in the mid-range for a beautiful shot right there. He had a strong start in the game and will continue that the rest of the way through. And right there, that's a corner three from Ben McLemore, who got his team back into it, and then Drew Eubanks making his money right where he always does with that hook shot right there. Eubanks was the leading scorer for the Trailblazers that night. And now, after a pump fake right there by McLemore, he gets straight to the rim and gets the and one. Fantastic shot right there. Great concentration by Ben McLemore for that shot there. And GB3 gets the corner three to fall with that one. And now, of course, C.J. McCollum gets straight to the rim and scores the bucket there. The Pelicans would go on to win this game by a final score of 117-107, with C.J. being the leading scorer of the game with 25, and Eubanks, of course, with 21.
All right, thank you so much, Jack, for that sports update. Nice to see you here on the Nightly News. That is our report for tonight. Please be sure to stay tuned for the bigger picture.
Thank you for watching, and have a great night, everyone.
Marinating chicken in all sorts of liquids for 24 hours. These are vitamins and minerals and things that you need, nutrients. The chicken speedy is a staple of our culture.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News.
For the governor race with a strong lead, former Governor Andrew Cuomo is...
Barlow announced the completion of a large building mural in downtown Oswego.
The renovations on the Hewitt Union Building, turning it into the new Hewitt Hall.
And as we move into tomorrow, that rain is going to be in our area.
Moving to the Diamond now, as Sweet Caroline got a lot sweeter last night.